So in this video, I'm going to share with you my experiences of this HP Scanjet 200 flatbed scanner. This came to me in a box with other items, and it was just stuffed in there by the side. Didn't look great, and I wasn't expecting much for it. So we did some research on eBay, and we found some sold items which had sold for quite a reasonable sum. It made sense to invest just a little bit of time to see if we could get this one back to life. So the first thing that we needed to do was to connect up the scanner. Now it takes a mini USB cable in the scanner and a standard USB cable on the other side. That was plugged into my Windows 8.1 laptop, slightly older laptop, so it's running a slightly older operating system, and I plugged that into the laptop. Now, it didn't do anything. Nothing popped up like it does on Windows to say that it was adding new hardware or that it had found new hardware. It just didn't do anything, which led me to believe that there was something wrong with the scanner and it wasn't worth the time investment in trying to find out what the problem was. So it's at this point I thought it might be a very good idea just to check that port and make sure that there's no port damage, that the cable is fine, but there's some sort of issue with the port, that it's not actually accepting any information from the port or sending information from the port. But looking at the port and looking at the little video there, everything seemed to be fine. So at this point, then I thought it might be a good idea just to download the drivers for the unit. So got onto Google and just typed in HP Scanjet 200 drivers, and it comes up with quite a few results. The first one I went to was HP support, so I wanted to get it from the official place. So I clicked on that, and for some reason that site was down, or that page was down. So there was another page, so I clicked on the one below it. It's happened a couple of times before as that. So if we just go to software and drivers, and where are we? Yep, software and drivers, and then driver product installation software. See what that shows. Shows basic drivers. I checked to see if there was more software, but it looks like there's just basic drivers for this unit, and then click download. That then downloads to the top right, and then if you click on that file once it's finished downloading, that will then open up the information that it needs to install the drivers. Now it is basic drivers, so the drivers in this instance, they installed like super quickly. It only took like a couple of seconds, and it said drivers installed and successful. So it was time to plug the USB cable again and see what happens. So when the USB cable was plugged in, after a couple of seconds, there was a noise from the scanner as though the mechanism had it just come to life, and you could see the mechanism from underneath that glass there just moving slightly, and then that reassured me that there was power to the unit, and it seemed to be okay. So far so good. So on the front of the scanner, there's 4 buttons. One looks like it's scan to PDF, one scan to email, one scan to print, and one just looks like it's just to scan. And it's this end button that we're going to use to test the scanner. So when that button is pressed, that should bring up something like this. This is the little program. I believe this is probably going to be built into Windows, and that will give you the option to make a straightforward scan. You might notice underneath that there is an option for this program that I have installed myself, which is called NAPS 2. So this is a fantastic little piece of free software which I actually downloaded because I needed to install drivers for an out-of-date Canon scanner, and Canon had stopped supporting it, or for whatever reason I couldn't find the drivers. So I went online, searched for some sort of generic scanner tool, and this was the one that I found, and it's been perfect because it automatically detects the scanner. You can have multiple scanners on there. You can do a bit of editing in there, and it's all for free. It's not a link. So it's not like an affiliate link or anything like that. It's just straightforward, free software. I'll leave the link in the description. It's brilliant, so get that. So we'll use the top option, which is to just use the inbuilt scan. So click on OK, and then from here we're just gonna, everything set up OK, so we'll just press scan, and this was the result of the scan. It was the nearest thing I could find. And as you can see by the quality of the scan, that there's no issues. It seems like a very, very good quality scan. So the scanner was working all along, fully functional, just needed to be set up in the right way. So one thing I did consider after installing this on the Windows 8 machine, what would be the process with a newer machine? So I've actually got a Windows 10 desktop, and I tried plugging the scanner straight into the desktop PC without installing any drivers. The Windows 10 operating system seemed to find the scanner a lot easier than the Windows 8 machine did, or didn't. It would appear that if you've got a newer operating system, Windows 10, 11 and Mac, depending on the version of Mac you have as well, it could be just a case of just plugging that USB cable into your machine and it will auto detect. If for any reason it doesn't auto detect, then you can follow the process outlined in the video, and then that will get you the same result.